In the first upset of the day, we see Improv take down Mocket in a 3-1 series. And that means, Lethal, your 100% record isn't there anymore. You said Mocket were definitely going to be taking it. What happened in that series?
It was just the fact that Improv were just a lot more coordinated and a lot more faster paced. It was actually very impressive to see a team like that. You know, I mentioned before that we probably will see a lot of C1. I wish we did. Was it the final game when plus 18? He was doing so well with that sniper, and his positioning as well just caught Mocket off guard in so many situations in that narrow CTF game, and did a really good job holding his own, as well as the rest of the squad, really. They all just came together, and I think they knew what needed to be done, and the aggressive pace was just a little bit too much for them.
Do you think there was anything that Mocket didn't do quite as well as you would have imagined, Harry?
What's that?
Well, anything for Mocket.
For me, it comes down to the fact that Mocket were a fantastic Halo 5 team. Right?
Yeah.
Sometimes those skills aren't always transferable into Halo 3. We were chatting in the green room, right, and Looney spoke to you at the start of the grassroots season and said, I'm struggling to transition back to Halo 3 because it's such a different game. It's not a hit-scanned game. You have all this incredible movement capability in Halo 5 and all these different dynamic things you can do to try and beat your opponent. There's not much like that in Halo 3 apart from you, your movement, and your shot. That's all you have. And some players got it and some players don't. And right there, I think Mocket just showed to everyone that they wish they were playing Halo 5.
Yeah, no, I completely agree, because with Halo 3 to Halo 5, you can transition from there, but going backwards is completely different. With the movement, it's a lot slower, so you've got to be a lot more cautious, especially with the abilities you have. You know, you can't just thrust away if you've made a mistake or a fault when you're trying to push over across to try and get something done, especially with the objective. But it wasn't really like that. It was more the basic fundamentals. A lot of the times they were separated. They could have gotten the objective here and there. They should have prioritised some of their opponents when they had sniper. There was a lot of little things here and there which just added up, and you could see, you know, at the final game with Freya and now a CTF, that scoreline, it was very impressive. So with Improv, I'm very excited to see how they crack on later.
Well, definitely. I mean, the first upset of the day, we always like that. We always like a good underdog story. But just going back to the first capture the flag map that we saw, I mean, it seemed like Mocket were getting into there slowly. They managed to gain that momentum, but it just didn't seem to carry on through to the other game types. Yeah,
it was a bit of a weird one. Like, Onslaught CTF is very basic in terms of what needs to be done. It's more catching your opponent off guard, more, I'll say, the more the individual game sense there. And they, you know, you could tell that it was working very well for them. The coordination was there. You don't have to be too fast-paced. But when it got to the games, that's where you needed to be. Like, you know, in Construct Hill, they were down by like 50 to 70 seconds, but they did make that comeback. But again, they weren't milking the time. They weren't trying to get the spawns enough. But Improv were doing that, but a lot more in sync. And now CTF was pretty much a whitewash. They got heavily outslayed, which I was very surprised about. I thought it would be Mocket who would be doing the outslaying, and Improv would be doing better objective.
Yeah, take nothing away from Improv, a fantastic performance, but for me, just too many fundamental errors that we saw from Mocket. There was opportunities, several opportunities really to run the flag when they had rockets, they had power weapons in the enemy's flag, and the guy with the rockets wasn't being that shield for the flag runner. You know, if you have rockets in front of a flag guy, guess what? Anyone who challenges the flag is going to get a rocket to the face. Instead of going the same way, Looney, I think it was with rockets, goes through lobby instead, goes completely the different way to his flag carrier. In the end, the flag carrier gets taken down. That flag run completely dead. They have to reslay again. It's just too many fundamental mistakes. They did well, as you said, on Construct to get back into it, but then again, leaving those sword spawns, leaving those top spawns, you just can't do that at this level of Halo. Halo 3, you make a mistake and it can cost you 20 seconds of time, sometimes a flag run opportunity, and all of a sudden you have to reset the map and go again.
Yeah, that situation now you were talking about, I think he mistimed the death cycle a bit too late. What he did was he thought he took him out on spawn quite quickly. Maybe it was a miscommunication. What you should be doing is go on snipe with the flag guys, so if anyone does push, it means it forces them over to cannon, or like you're trying to catch them off guard anyway, left, right and centre. But it just wasn't the case. I can understand why he did it, but it was just the wrong move at the wrong time.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we are going to be moving into our next matchup, and that is going to be DEMONICA.PURPLE versus First Boss, and we want you guys in the chat to get involved. Use !vote space red if you want to vote for DEMONICA.PURPLE to be winning this next matchup, or !vote space blue if it's going to be First Boss. And this is a rematch. We've seen these guys play in their first opening matchup of the day. You guys thinking the same sort of result is going to come of it?
Yeah, I think it will. You know, with the First Boss guys, you've got to love them. I know one of the players, Ubernick, he's part of the HS Grassroots program, a very big content creator for the Halo scene. And, you know, it's people like him who really helps the Halo community grow as a whole. He's one of those staple stone, especially in Europe, but worldwide as well. He's more here just to have fun, have a laugh with his friends, and just try and get as far as he can. He's not here to take it super seriously, but same with DEMONICA.PURPLE as well. They haven't practiced a lot, but they've been around the scene quite a while with enough event experience to kind of actually topple them like they did in the last series. So with game types, I don't know, or I don't actually think that it's going to be too much of a worry for them in terms of who it favours.
Well, yeah, and obviously we're going to be moving into the Swiss round 3, so the maps are going to be a little bit different. So it could spice things up. It could potentially put it in the favour of first boss. But what are you thinking, Harry?
Well, I think the added pressure, perhaps, of being on stream for both of these teams might just change up the game completely. Not only do you have, as you said, Freya, a whole set of new game types, you now have that pressure of the stream watching you. We saw Demonica earlier going up against Tox, heavy favourites to win the tournament, got smashed. And that might play on their minds here in this series. Yes, we've already beaten this team, but all the public has seen in the Twitch chat at home or on Mixer is, well, we've just been rubbish. so we got to prove them wrong now.
You were saying to one of the players on DEMONICA.PURPLE, you always seem to be on stream when it's those tough matches, right? Like, that mustn't be good for your morale. Yeah,
it's not the greatest way to kind of start the first couple of matches of the day, but it was going to happen. Basically, between those two teams, whoever's going to go 1-0 was going to face one of those top 3 teams in that group, because we said it before, there's a massive tier gap and skill gap between the top 3 and the bottom 2 here. But at least for the bottom 2 here, yes, you're fair enough, we're not seeing, like, you know, a Tox matchup versus one of the other top teams, for example, like Lucendi. But at the end of the day, even though it's 2 low-tier EU teams, at least it's going to be a close one, which is what I'm all for. But there's 1 or 2 game types they have already played against each other, like the last series. I think Guardian Ball, there was like about 100-second difference or something like that from the top of my head from what I saw earlier.
Yeah, I think you're correct, yeah. And obviously these guys are both 1-1. So it is kind of crunch time now. If they're going to go into that 1-2 bracket, then they literally have 1 more chance left. Like, it must be a lot of pressure coming on them.
Yeah, definitely. And this is the beauty, though, of the Swiss. I mean, you do play teams that are on the same ranking as you, so that makes every single match important. Like you said, you don't want to go in that 1-2 bracket. You want to be in the 2-1 and be 1 win away from making the bracket. But yeah, that makes this game again all the spicier when you add in all those elements of new game types. You're on stream, you're under the spotlight. It just makes it a fantastic spectacle, I think.
Are there any particular players you're looking forward to seeing, maybe who didn't show up in the first time these 2 teams faced?
I'd probably say maybe like Flash or XXL, maybe one of those 2 players, because, you know, they can step up when they need to, but it depends on the team, of course. Like, you know, against Tox, I don't expect any of them to, because it's just one of those situations, isn't it? It's against any of the European teams, really, actually. It just depends on the milestone of how much score they can get against them. But they were quite happy, like, you know, none of them goosed against Tox earlier on. But I think they're going to feel a little bit better about it. But right now, we're going to see the team of XSL and Flash, etc. on DEMONICA.PURPLE. They are going to assume they're going to walk away with it 3-0 or 3-1 again, because the scores were quite convincing in that last series when they both played.
Yeah, exactly.
I think, for me, I'm going to be looking out for EU Jesus, actually, to step up. He has a tremendous game attack, but also when they were playing against Tox, he was one of the players on that team chiming in with kills every now and then. You know, when you play against a team like Tox, so difficult to get any kill. They make it so difficult for you. But on Onslaught in that game number 1, yes, they lost 5-0, but when they got some map control, it was mostly because of Jesus' kills on the other side. It's got to be Ubernic. I want to see some snipes. I mean, game 1's the perfect one for it. It's a narrows, capture the flag, get Ubernic with snipe, and let's see some clips.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I mean, we want some flashy plays, right? We've seen them. We've seen a couple of perfections coming out, it's been pretty decent. What are you guys saying in terms of your predictions? Do you think it's going to be a 3-0 again, 3-1?
I'm not too sure. I'm going to sit DEMONICA.PURPLE no matter what.
Yes,
you know, sorry, Nick. You know, it's just one of those things, mate. You know, I do love what you do, so don't worry about it. But scoreline is going to be 3-0 or 3-1 again, I reckon.
I'd say 3-1. I think 3-1. When you've already beaten a team, you already have that psychological edge that we speak about so much throughout every esports. Psychology is half the battle, really. But I think there is that added pressure, as we've spoken about, that could influence a couple of these game types to go the other way. So I'll say 3-1 Demonica, but wouldn't be surprised to see a game 5.
Well, I think it's really interesting you pick up on the psychology element, because we've seen a lot of the teams shouting at each other. There's been a lot of curse words going around, a bit of smack
loud
talk,
and
which
Larry,
is
yeah, I like a bit of that.
I love it.
So.
It's the land, right? Like, it reminds me of all those back in the day lands. But yeah, I think that's quite an important thing you've got to think about, being a new team, coming into this sort of environment and having to deal with that on top of maybe sorting off a little bit if you're not getting some of the kills you should be getting, right?
Oh, definitely. It's very, very important. Like what I used to do, for example, was there's an individual player in particular where they're easily the main slayer compared to the rest of them. I'll be shouting and screaming them to their face and standing up every single time, every game, because you have to get into their heads. In the early Halos, you couldn't really do that. You had to focus more on your individual skill. But because with Halo 3, it's more of a team shot-based game, you need to try and throw them off as much as you can, because it's the morale boosters as well as the heavy slayers. You really need to throw off guard.
I was a little squeaker when I was playing, so there's no point in me shouting. I wouldn't have got in anyone's head. It just would have been, oh, you're rubbish. No, it's not worth it.
But it is really cool here to see. I mean, especially the fans as well, having that kind of all coming around you. I thought there'd be a lot more people watching on the main screen, but it turns out everybody likes to watch, be behind their favourite player, cheering them on, because it's nice to have that energy around you, isn't it?
It really is, and again, it adds to that atmosphere, it adds to the pressure. All of a sudden, you feel a couple of coats touch the back of your head. It's like, oh, there's people watching me. Oh, I better play good. Oh, I just died. Oh no, I've died again. Oh no. So yeah, there is that added pressure again, and that's the beauty again of these open events. You know, not only do you get some teams and some players who come to cheer on their friends when they're playing, but also you get players who are trying to win big bucks, like Tox fly all the way over from America.
Yeah.
There's so many different brands of people, I suppose you could say, that come here and either just to compete or you know, just a makeshift, that add to the environment, add to the experience that makes all of this just so magical.
Yeah, it's just the open events in general. Like, it's going maybe a little bit weird, you might agree, I'm not too sure, but some of the top 24, top 16 teams where they go against each other, you know, they have a lot of beef, a lot of drama with each other, which I always see. And when I see two teams like that, which I think we might see later on, I'm going straight over there and I'm going to witness it for myself, because it's great, because it's literally just behind us. We can pop over and find out what's going on back to back. But that's some of the great things. Really. It doesn't matter how high or low tier the teams are, you know, if there's like, you know, a bit of drama here and there you want to get involved in, but I like to get stuck right in and see what's going on in series. Yeah,
it's fantastic. And now we've got your predictions, but let's see if chat agrees with us. I want to see exactly what they've been saying in the chat.
Wow.
74% to first boss.
Okay.
So we
Ubinix
got
hosting the stream.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
That's what's happening here. All right. They've just seen the logo and they want that as an emote.
Yeah, maybe the sort of ode to old Halo 3 times. Maybe that's swinging the fan vote.
I feel like that's a little disrespectful, you know, that logo.
Just copyright.
doing Microsoft Paint over one of the best.
It's not even the text. It's just the writing of the name. Like
my personal favorite is the blue angry emoji from Facebook. That's certainly a tier 1 addition to the logo. But yeah, that's sacrilege in my opinion.
Well, we can see a lot of the guys getting warmed up there. Look, like having a very good time. That's what I really like to see as well. All the player games, we've got individual cameras for every single player, which I think adds another element to it, right? You get to see their reactions. I absolutely love that, especially coming from other esports. I do a lot of CSGO, and seeing the team's reactions when they don't necessarily get killed that they want is... I really like that, being able to see the emotions of not just winning, but losing those moments as well.
Yeah, it's pretty much hitting the nail on the head there. But even with the first boss team, I would like to see if Nick and the boys can make some kind of comeback, because that would be huge. Because considering they're going in quite demoralised, it's going to be thinking, oh, we don't want the same thing to happen again, blah, 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 blah. But actually, they might think, well, actually, you know, let's change things up a bit. That was one of our first series of the day. We're warm now. Let's see if we can get kind of an edge, some kind of comeback here.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Wonderboy, I just want to pick up on something you said earlier. You were saying you think it's going to be a 3-1 series, but it could go to that 5th map. What do you think they need to do to take to that 5th one?
It's always tricky, again, when you are banking on beating a team that's already beaten you. It's really tough. It comes back to what I was saying with the Mocket series, which Improv actually did really well, despite dropping that game 1, coming back and winning the series, is taking it a game at a time. We say it almost every single time when a host asks an analyst, it's like, oh, what do you do to beat these guys? Take it one game at a time. We always say it, but that's how you have to approach these series. And coming back to what you were saying about seeing the player cams and seeing the reactions of each play, often you'll see the top tier teams, when they die, they don't get frustrated at themselves like, oh, I should have done better then. They're automatically looking at their teammates' screen saying, oh, there's a guy here, go that way, you need to lock down this area. That's the difference that we're seeing between these kind of one-on-one teams in the Swiss at the moment, between the teams who are 2-0 and some who potentially are already through to the bracket already. So that's what I'm going to be looking out for. You don't want to get frustrated early on in a series. When you have so much Halo left to play, it's so important to keep your head in the game. And again, take it that one game at a time. You take game one, guess what? You're up 1-0. You're 2 games away from winning the series.
Yeah, exactly. Well, simple little tricks there. I love that. Well, I wanted to pick up on something you said, but actually Dan alluded to earlier, that the fact that the screens are so close together.
Yeah.
So you can actually see what your teammates are doing, tell them where to go, and the coaches being able to call out during the game as well. I mean, that's hugely important.
It really is. That's just classic old school Halo heritage right there. Back in the days when there weren't any mix amps and none of these fancy headsets, you literally just used to have some headphones, and your call-outs would be based on who could shout the loudest. If you weren't able to scream over your teammates, your call-outs weren't getting heard. So one of the fantastic things you'll see some of these teams do as well is actually, like you said, push those monitors together and direct each other, screen watch. It's so important to stay on your dead body when you die, because you're almost like a surveillance camera on the map. So whilst your team are obviously doing the dirty work and focusing on their jobs and what they're trying to lock down next, they're looking as well at your death cameras, almost like a surveillance camera. A great example is on Pit. If you die on the enemy's side on long haul and your teammates are all on your own side, you can use that to see pretty much down through green, through training. You can see where the push is coming from, and you can get that split-second advantage that you otherwise wouldn't have had if you'd flicked off your death cam to let your team set up and try and defend the push that's coming towards you. So again, it's all these little niche things that you see when you do attend a Halo event. And it just makes it, again, a wonderful place to be.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm getting wind that Twitch chat seem to think that Sims is playing up on stage, and we've got a little comparison, maybe just to prove that it isn't him, but it does look a lot like him.
Okay, I bought a quick glimpse. I didn't think it was him.
Here we go.
Hey, there we go.
This is the real comparison. He needs to turn around.
There we go. There we go. Just a little bit.
You know what? That is Richard Sims.
It really is. Incredible.
That is Richard Sims.
Who would have thought it? His twin brothers here competing, getting the same placement as he did last time.
When did he perfect cloning? That's amazing. Wow.
I know, it's unbelievable.
That's incredible.
Wow,
I'm impressed.
Yeah, very, very special stuff there. Thank you very much, Twitch chat, for pointing out that sort of stuff. That's what I love about. Thank you very much, producer, for bringing that up in my ear as well. I love hearing that sort of stuff. I love making sure. Actually, that's a good time to say, make sure you're following our socials, follow at FACEIT Halo, and using the hashtag FACEIT Ignite, because obviously the lovely Harry will be going back and speaking to a lot of the players as well. So make sure you're tweeting in him all those questions that you want to hear the answers to. But Harry, what's it been like being down on the floor, being able to speak to some of these players sort of hands-on?
It's really amazing, because oftentimes, as bad as it sounds when you are casting or if you're in an analysis situation, you're more focused on the games themselves rather than chatting to the players and trying to find out their feelings and thoughts. But when you're in a role sort of as I am, as an on-the-floor reporter, you want to get the feelings, and you want to find out what teams' morales are, going into the next series, going into the rest of the tournament. Were they happy with the way that they won, or did they think they maybe could have improved some things? So it's certainly been an experimental sort of day for me so far, but I've absolutely loved it. It's been great.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic to have them literally behind us on the stage as well.
Easy,
and that's something.
access.
Yeah, exactly. It's great. They can't run away from you. I love that. I've seen you grabbing them after their wins, like, okay. Improv, the only ones to slide through the net.
Yeah, I tell you what, I can be pretty mean, but it literally is Richard Sims.
It's ridiculous, isn't it?
I can't take my eyes off that now. Twitch chat, you've
Incredible.
ruined. Look,
You can't unsee it anymore. There
Hey.
it is. Right, Sims.
I feel like there's a little bit of Dan in there. Hey.
There we go.
Aww.
Loud and
I feel like
proud.
there's
That's
a
what I
little
want
bit
to
of
see.
Dan in there as well, though. I don't know. I feel like he just looks a little bit smaller than
be,
Sims.
yeah.
I don't know. I'm not seeing him in person.
I think a
but-
little bit, but like
Some
not too
similarities.
much.
Oh, yeah, definitely Sims. Yeah. Well, speaking
Yeah.
of the wonderful Sims, we are going to be throwing it over to our casters to take us through this series. Dan, Richard, over to you.
What are you saying about me being small?
Hi.
How dare you? I am quite the man.
This feels awkward.
It does feel awkward, doesn't it?
We'll stand up, yeah.
Yeah, I'll
Put
get up.
this.
I'll
There
get
we
up.
go.
There we go.
I like it how, like, instantly someone who's ginger just looks like...
Looks like gingers, apparently. That's
I hate
not
being
allowed.
tarnished with this ginger brush.
Disgusting. That's how you turned out ginger, a little ginger brush, and that's how we got your beard.
That's not how
You're actually
people
brunette.
are made, Dan.
No? Okay.
No.
All right. Well, we try. We try.
We actually get augmented in tubes.
This is the Matrix. And now we've got some Halo 3
Oh my
as well.
god. That is disgusting. It's Ubernick. Holy shit. All we need to do is just, like, cast as if he's making a video. I'm making a push, boys. I've got sniper. I'm missing every friggin' shot and there's a man on me. Oh no, I got a kill, Dan! I got a kill! There you go. That's stick that on YouTube, Nick.
I mean, the fun thing is your accent isn't that far off it anyway, so it just sounds normal to me. But First Boss versus DEMONICA.PURPLE, they have already played each other. DEMONICA.PURPLE won 3-0, and the way that the Swiss groups work, it meant, because there was only 5 teams in this group, it meant First Boss got a bye in their round 2, which is why we see these two facing each other. And maybe there's a little bit of an issue here, because we're seeing the flag being captured, but there's a couple of players looking around. As that's going to be capture number 1.
A few little confused faces there. I saw someone looking up the map, so I believe this would be a dead game. We'll go for a full restart, and that's fine. It means we can do more Nick impressions off the start. I'll let you take the Scottish accent this time before I completely and utterly butcher it once again. Although I don't think we're too far off.
I'm telling you, your accent is basically Scottish anyway, so you're pretty much there.
It was one of yous.
It was one of yous.
It was one of yous.
But yeah, we'll get this match restarted between the two. But essentially, this could be a chance to put yourself in with an opportunity of getting out of the groups. However, if you fall to 1 and 2 in the Swiss stage, you are not going to be with a very good opportunity of getting through.
Something we can discuss just while we're getting this one restarted is Nick as an individual. I don't want to act like I'm his best mate and know everything about him. But certainly, when we look towards streaming on YouTube, Halo does have a really good setting on YouTube. You look at some of the Hidden Xperia, for example, he just did 250,000 not so long back with his iconic videos of history and lore, and it kind of shows how Halo just breaks boundaries. What we know as esports is different to what people who will follow Nick, for instance, know as Halo to them. This is a bigger picture. You've got people who focus on lore and the history, the books, the storylines of Master Chief, and even Reach itself, it's a terrible, terrible game. I won't have anyone say anything otherwise. But the actual campaign and the story about Reach and the fall of Reach and everything, it's incredible. And to see, like, when you look into and deep dive into YouTube, the people who do different things, racing maps, there's people who do photography, they take it, in-game pictures, montaging. It's really good to see, and I think that's what the whole... Me personally, I don't want to I'm not Tashi, start explaining the whole purpose of the HCS grassroots programs, but when you see people coming on board, Naded, Nick, Vetoed, and so on and so forth, supporting them in the streaming careers and being able to give them a bit more of a platform as we do work up to Infinite, whatever you want to call it, it's pretty good. I'm a fan of it. I think it could do wonderful things for the Halo franchise, and I'm excited to see more.
Yep, and we're going to listen from Harry, because I think Harry's got some news for us from the floor.
Hi guys, just letting you know that the reason this match has been delayed is because First Boss had a bit of a sound issue. So we're just getting that ironed out, and then we can start playing Halo 3 again.
Thank you so much for keeping us up to date, Harry.
No
That's
problem.
One would say sound mate.
I didn't get the joke either, Harry. Don't worry. Rich is using his dad jokes.
Are you there, Harry? Are you okay?
I'm here.
Yeah.
How's things? Harry Shannon reporting live from the floors in the Sky Channel 5. You don't like it when I say Shannon.
He really hates you.
He really don't like it.
He really doesn't like... No, not just that. I think he hates you as a person. Yeah.
I mean, I hate me as well if I had to work with me.
You are a bully. I mean, you are sat there also playing Halo as well, so I'm pretty impressed that you can be two places at once.
Look at this. I mean, there's 3 of me. In fact, there's 4. You're next to me as well.
Well,
there's
to
just
be fair, when they said...
in abundance.
When they said you looked like someone, I was assuming it was Uber Nick.
What, because he's ginger?
Yeah.
Or because he's really northern? He's more northern than I am.
Exactly. So I thought there was more comparisons there, but it looks like we're going to get back underway then between these two squads. And all right, here we go. He's going to push. He's going to get the sniper rifle, and he's going to rook over the rockets. He misses 1 shot, goes for the 2nd shot. Can he get a 3rd? No, he can't. Terrible. Looks for a 4th. Has to reload. How was that? Was that all right?
You sound like you're doing a commentary on horses.
Well, there we go. Oh, my Scottish is a bit more high-pitched than Uber Nick, to be fair. He's got far more a deep voice than I.
He does. He's, what was that?
That's my Scotland.
It sounded like a leprechaun or something.
I mean, well, that's Irish, but sure. We gave it a go.
Anyway, back to the actual game. We'll be serious about this one now. Top middle control is in the hands of DEMONICA.PURPLE. Sniper rifles up here. Double XL. Will not find the mark. Does unfortunately find the edge of the map. He's off. Flag's been moved while all this has been going on. Flash Quick as a flash, there you go. Flag cap, job done now. Just to kind of go back and touch on what the Death said, Dan, I believe this team, these two teams have actually played each other once today?
Yeah, they have. In the Swiss phase, when they were both 0-0, they faced up against each other. DEMONICA won that one 3-0 as well. Those maps were CTF Pit, Construct, Team Slayer, and Oddball Guardian. We do actually see Oddball Guardian within these 5 game types that they have the possibility of playing as well. So you could argue, well, actually, you don't even need to argue it. DEMONICA.PURPLE have the advantage going into this series.
Jesus, down low.
Also can't see him because he's too down low below his monitor as well. There he is.
There you go, just came up for air. Have a quick look. Looks around. Nick's doing the same. Ginger 2, by the way, it's not actually called Ubernick in this one. It's Ginger 1 and Ginger 2. So I'll take Ginger 3 and Ginger 4. And between us, we might... No, he's dead. Did he go for a quick flag run, but it's instantly shut down. Sticky Ned comes through. The Ginger 1, I've been told in the back, is one of the players who actually hit on the map during the World Cup qualifiers in 2016 in one of the qualifying rounds.
Oh, there was the one team that entered and they glitched out of the map.
Yes.
Oh, that's that was him.
I think Tash is currently asking him for his Xbox IP details and MAC address as we speak.
Writing up a report.
Finally, he's found him.
He's been searching him for years.
The Xbox Live police have come down hard. And this is his last event. This is actually his last ever game of Halo. After this, he's going to be banned from Steam and everything.
Well, he needs to go out with a bang then. Hopefully, as soft side and washed sheet also full, and I'm appreciating some of these player names.
I mean, they're kind of not really far off it. Mike's still on holiday. He retired to the Caribbean 2 years ago, and Dave retired 19 years ago. Dave's actually in a retirement home now as we speak, at the Red Bull HQ office.
At least he's watching. I hope he's watching.
He better be watching.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he never sleeps, so just be constantly tanked up on Red Bull these days.
2-0 to DEMONICA.PURPLE, and they're making it easy. They've just been kind of running around doing what they want at the moment. First boss not communicating too well, pushing out individually a lot, and they're being caught out by quite a little bit of Team BR. But rockets are up, and it's time now for Mr. Ginger 2 himself to actually start going off. Ubernick, of course, big streamer, big YouTuber, and he can hit some shots. Certainly a big team battle. Can he do it in the pro settings?
I believe he's got about 65k on YouTube now, and I think about 15k on Twitch. Whenever I see him streaming, he's always around the 500, 600, 700 marks. He's certainly doing well. A bit better than the rocket that comes through. Does take him out. There's a double now for Flash. Needs to be making sure he's aware of the spawners that'll be on the opposing side. And again, this is where it comes in handy, having the rockets on your back. He opts to pull out the BR and save the ammo. I'm absolutely fine with that. It might be nice for somebody to meet him halfway so he can put these rockets to good use. Double XL is there. Says, no, that's fine, I'll just run it anyway, we'll keep rockets in his hand. But again, it's the backup plan, should someone just appear out of nowhere. Bam, bam, thank you, man. Rockets can go down, red team wins, 3-0. And we didn't really expect anything less. We said this could be a sweep. We are going off the back of it being a sweep earlier on. And yeah, absolutely no disrespect to Nick's team whatsoever. We never do this. We encourage everyone to come down, have some fun and have a go. Nick and the boys, they know what they're in for here. But you know what? It's all about participation. This event's all about fun. There is a prize pool at the end of the day, and when we get later down the line, especially on Championship Sunday, it gets a hell of a lot more serious. But for now, I want to enjoy it, much like these players. I don't think they probably enjoyed it too much, because certainly Flash at the top with 14 kills did open up a little bit on the opposing roster. But as you said, Washi and Softside, I'm appreciating the names down.
Yeah, I mean, it's always fun, isn't it, to make fun of our friends. So I think I'm always going to appreciate names like that. Maybe one day people will rename themselves after you, Sims, as the living legend yourself. I couldn't say that with a straight face because you're just Sims to me. But I think this is probably going to be... It should be a 3-0, judging by the game types that we've got in front of us. Amplified Slayer, there's always the possibility of anything happening. Amp TS can be very, very messy in terms of a game type, but the way DEMONICA are playing, they should be comfortably moving themselves into 2-0 in the Swiss, which would likely find themselves facing probably against Lethal Divide for a chance to get into the winner's bracket. Lethal Divide being Turk, Lunny, Shabby Dagger, and Kimbo.
I'm 99% sure when Amplified was being created in Forge, when the creators were doing the level design and so on and so forth, they were kind of asking themselves, okay, how can we make the most confusing, stupid, mental, a mad map with 6 billion angles that you can shoot from in Halo existence?
It's not a pretty map to look at. Let's be clear about that.
I mean, it's better than Reach Forge maps because Reach was just one big grey pit.
However, I actually love Amplified CS. I think it's one of my favorite game types, and it really caters to those players who enjoy free-for-all, because it is similar style to a free-for-all map. But if you have that support from your teammates, if they can just fire a couple of shots in and you can run around, you can have so much fun. And there's so many angles to hide and dodge around that you can just, you can go to hell. You can just do whatever you want.
I can go to hell?
Yes.
It's not very nice here.
No.
What did I do to deserve that?
At the bottom of Amplified, that's where you can just sit under and then you get
with
destroyed.
my mauler begging for mercy. Please don't shoot me, Mr. Man in the Sky. Go on then, you know what, while we're just doing this, talk to me about power positions on this map. Where later down the line and throughout this one, what areas should teams be looking to lock down? Where are solid kind of contained areas you can lock people into? Not necessarily a spawn trap, but certainly into a slaying area.
I mean, the spawns are going to find themselves pretty much base to base, and of course there are some spawns bottom gold as well, but you want to be finding yourselves in the top 3 position, the top gold position, or the gold 2, or you want to find one person or two people maneuvering their way around the map so that you can almost attack people as they spawn, and you can just pincer them as they spawn in a base. If you know they're going to be spawning in B, you can be like, all right, well, let's both push together. I'll push from the left, you push from the right, and then as soon as they spawn, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, they are dead. So I'd like to see a lot of control from these top middle areas, but also not being afraid to push spawns when you know that there's going to be several people spawning at the same time.
One with Washi. Ginger 1. My actual, you know what, we could be related for all we know. I suppose every Ginger's related somewhere down the line. In some way. Ubernick's dead. That's rather unfortunate. Another Ginger will fall. Midgets finds him. His brother goes down as well, so we'll hop on board with Nick. Well, I think we should keep with Nick for a little bit. He's got a lot of fans. You know what, I don't want to be fair, I know there's a bigger game afoot here, but he does have a lot of fans at home, and he does have a lot of fans that will be tuning in, so we'll give the man a bit of an airtime. Won't scrutinise him too much. Let me get this kill, I'll be happy. Don't chase it. Give your teammate the call. There you go. Project sees him. Nick comes from behind, so no one watching the backlines, and that's fine. I think this speaks a bigger game of Halo, right? You constantly have to be aware of where potential people could be spawning, but more importantly, where potential people will always be coming from. There's no, in the what we call the MLG setting, so to speak, or hardcore, there's no radar afoot. And I think sometimes if you are continuously playing casual, if you're playing the Slayer playlist over and over again, if you're playing Objective playlist, for example, Big Team Battle, where you do have that radar in play, it becomes a bit of a mindset and you lose track of that. And you don't realize that now you're open from so many different angles, and it's a totally different ballgame altogether, right?
I think that Amplified in particular is very difficult to run around solo as well without any support. I mean, I know I said it's like a free-for-all map, but that's only when you're communicating with your team and you're all on the same page. If you are just walking around the map expecting to dump on everyone that you see and out-BRing everyone, you're not going to have fun, because people are going to be in advantageous spots. They're going to be stood in these higher positions where they can shoot down on you, and they're going to make it very difficult with the angles to actually be challenged. And I think that's what we're seeing, in particular from Ubernick right now, because we're on board with him, is that he hasn't really got support of any teammates because he keeps wandering off on his own. And I think that's probably what he's used to doing when he's streaming and when he's making his YouTube content, which is great. He's got good aim. You can see that everything core mechanically is there. But this isn't a team that's practiced for this event, and we know that that's a factor. When you get on a team that's practiced, suddenly your individual ability adds to a team aspect, and then you can flourish and you can shine in those scenarios.
And you know what, I don't care what level of here you're at, I'd always say come and have fun and come and enjoy the aspects of an open event. It doesn't matter who you are, what level of competition you're at, even if you get slapped 3 games in a row and unfortunately you go out on Saturday, who cares? You're here to play Halo, you're here to have some fun, here to see the other side of the game and the esport firsthand, right? Being on a floor like this, the environment, it's just, even if you come for a few beers and stay the weekend, it's a good laugh.
It's a great laugh, and the community is always great, actually, and seeing some of the old faces has been amazing. Seeing the likes of Ramirez coming back, Fusion.
He has a beard.
He does. I didn't even recognize him.
He had a beard.
I'm very proud that he can grow a beard.
I didn't even know he could grow it.
Yeah, no.
I was surprised. He looks like a different character altogether.
I'm pretty jealous, to be honest. I still can't grow one. Only 5 kills left in this particular game, but even if you turn up to an event and you get 3-0'd 3 times, you're going to have that one opportunity where you're going to get one really good kill that you can scream and shout about, and you can go home, you can tell your friends about it, or you can just post about it online. And that is the one moment. As long as you get one LAN moment that you enjoy, you will remember it forever.
There you go, there's double. Come on, find me a triple. Nicky's above you. Ninja him. Ninja him. I'll give you a montage call out. Game over, job done. 50-point mark is reached. You know what? To 32. That's not a bad shout.
Yeah, they did all right. There was a couple of kills they were able to pick up.
Not a whitewash.
Individually, they were hitting some good shots, but I think DEMONICA.PURPLE just seemed to all be on board, and they're positioning themselves a little bit better against a team that isn't as well practiced. And now, with a 2-0 advantage going into Game 3, they should be able to comfortably secure a 3-0 here.
Did you say Fusion's here?
Fusion is here, yes.
Scott?
Scott is here, yeah.
Wow. Okay. Has he grown a beard?
No, he has not grown a beard, unfortunately. But yeah, he's teaming with Snaky, Havoc, and Flame, so that's a pretty scary team.
Really good. And you have to think how Mr. Findlay Fusion, how good he was at Halo 3 back in the day. He was a godsend.
This is the thing, when this event was announced, I wondered how many players who were incredible at Halo 3 would come back, and I could see maybe 8, 9, 10 players on this list who were all really, really top Halo 3 players that have come back because they're like, why not? I'll have another bite of the cherry, I'll see how I do, because they had that enjoyment factor when they used to play, and just coming back to a tournament environment, as well as 25k up for grabs as well, it's not far to come, is it, when it's a London event to be able to do this?
I mean, for him it is.
Yeah, he's come from Scotland, but in comparison to America, that's still a close event for him.
And he is a player, I believe, who was actually, I can't remember how many exactly off the top of my head, but been to America, performed at what I would say an American level. There's only a few people in my mind, maybe 5 to 6. I'll always say MVP's one of them. Scott's one of them. Fusion. The Reaction.
Reaction, Vox.
Bucks, power, yeah, it was good at the time. Yeah, I'll give them that. They were even moving into Western Wolves for Halo 4 at the start. Epsilon at the start of Halo 5, the Epsilon team was decent. I think there was a different story there in the fact that they caught the Americans sleeping a little bit with how early it came out, and they had practiced. They were playing for every tournament. I mean, Hell Flames was on that roster as well. It was a full 5-man squad with the coaching, but there's only a few that have really played at the top level from Europe that have really made it, Scott being one of them. So excited. To be fair, I think Max has always been a monster, to be fair, throughout some of these older games.
He has, and I always like the fact that Riot's is at these tournaments because he was one of my teammates from back in the day. He was someone
who your shining glory.
He carried me to some decent tournament results
back in the day.
He's really tall. He's 6'6", and I'm 5'9".
Makes me look even smaller than I normally am.
But yeah, it's great seeing some of these old faces, and that's what this community is about, right? Is that the friendships that we've built throughout because of Halo. And I've made some of my best friends, so it's amazing to see everyone come together once again as we now get into Game 3, which is going to be Guardian Oddball.
We know that's a lie, and you don't actually have any friends altogether.
Wow.
Anyway, so, Oddball, Guardian. One of my favourite maps, Dan.
Guardian is a lot of people's favourite maps, and I think it's just the way it plays and the spawn locations and the weapons that are available. And Guardian Oddball is one of my favourite game types because there's so much to it as well, and it's not just one of those ones you can easily play. You need to have a lot of structure about yourselves. You need to make sure you're actually positioning, setting up correctly, watching spawns, and we'll see whether either of these teams can do that. It is DEMONICA.PURPLE who have gained an early lead, and they're actually opting to hold the ball at sniper side. I know that T2 was saying earlier that he does like holding the ball at sniper side. It's one of the easier places to set up on this map. My personal preference is actually getting the ball into blue. I think that's the most solid setup that you can get on Guardian, but it's very difficult to hold on to if you're not well practiced and well versed in Guardian Oddball. You are going to struggle to get the ball into those kind of areas and get some decent time. But if you can get it in those areas, you really do whack up a good bit of time. So we'll see whether either of the teams are confident enough to go for that, or whether we're just going to see them have this battle at S2. As first boss picking up some decent time, and the ball is going to be thrown off by Ubernick as well. Good knowledge to recognise his teammates were down there and make sure the ball was played.
Thank you very much, Dan. If you wonder why Dan was just going off on that, I have completely spilt water all over the desk. Yeah, so...
Why do you ruin the illusion, Rich?
FACEIT's probably going to fire me. I've only been here 5 minutes already and I'm completely wrecking the place. But you know what? We've got this. It's all tied up. Nick goes down. Rather unfortunate. Emerson does step up XXL or double XL, whichever way you look at it. Will chase him down. Ball time still quite fragile between these two rosters. Camo, top mid. Beautiful place to be. No one can see it. The sneaky ninja, but where do you go? Time to strike is now, because as soon as you pull that trigger, you give up the ghost, quite literally. You become visible, people know where you are, and then you can attack them. Did you see speaking of that, the snipe not so long back, that snipe down posted out on Twitter? Oh god, the no-scope onto the camo guy top mid. One of the most disgusting things I've ever seen. In Halo 3, the camo is extremely difficult to see, especially on a map like this, where it's really dark, you can just sit top mid. It's a cylindrical area, right? And the times that we'll see people just going into one of the corners, crouching down, not moving, and just hiding until the time comes through, it's difficult. It can be really, really annoying, and being able to pick him off and get rid of him, I like it. It also, the one thing I like people see doing with Sniper, and again, we're just talking bigger picture here. You can see the game unfolding, and we'll tune in when the action does. I want to give as much respect as possible to these players for everyone that turns out. Nice snipe. Fidget gets the job done. Still locking it down here, but to continue what we're saying, Oddball, Halo 3, there are these maps that we get where you can actually have a proper setup. We haven't seen setups for a while. Halo 3 was very smash and grab. There were a lot of times you couldn't really set something up because it could be broken by the mobility side of it.
Halo 5.
Halo 5, excuse me. But for this one, for example, seeing a player grab camo and make a really sneaky push and sneaky play around S-Tower when you're holding the ball between S2 and elbow, you can really put something together, but the teamwork has to be there and it has to be right, and you have to coordinate that push with precision.
You were talking about Snipe Down as well. I mean, DEMONICA.PURPLE, they actually got the chance to play against Tox earlier on, so maybe
That's cool, isn't it?
Yeah, this is what I was saying, that I know that everyone's going to be looking at it and saying, oh, well, Tox are just going to dump on these kids, and then DEMONICA.PURPLE aren't going to enjoy themselves. And I see it from a different perspective. You get to play against the best players in the world. You get to play against world champions, some of the players who have shown us the best things we've ever seen throughout Halo esports. And they can then learn and they can take from that, whether it's actually in-game learning or whether it's just a bit of a memory, something to take home that they went up against some of the best players in the world. But actually, since that loss, DEMONICA.PURPLE now are looking pretty good here against First Boss, as they have yet another lead on this Oddball Guardian game. And the sniping has been all right, I've got to say, from these guys. They know how to hit their shots.
Yeah, not a bad shot there from Jesus. Well, that's his name in the chat, so we're going to go with it in the player pip. I mean, it's either that or I go with his real name. What do you want me to do? Kind of laugh at me down and then leave me hanging like this.
I'm not laughing at you, I'm just laughing at the situation. We could go for Jesus if we wanted to go for maybe a different spin on it, but Jesus is probably right.
Jesus with the no-scope. Only in European Halo would you ever hear that said, in no other game.
I tell you what, the team names at this event are pretty normal for a European event as well.
Oh god, if this was, if this was another LAN event that will be named nameless, or not named, should I say, there would be offensive names in there.
Well, not just that. I remember one of the biggest games in Halo European esports back in Pro League days. It was Realist Tins versus Ben's Coffee Lads.
Never change European Halo.
Some great team names.
Although, you know what? It's not even European Halo. It's like UK Halo.
UK Halo, yeah. Shout out though to Guntype's team. They're called Tea and Crumpets. As Americans, I think that's a solid team name to come over here.
It's a bit offensive.
It is a little bit. Puts a target on your back, that's for sure.
Okay. Guntype. God, you see that name in matchmaking, you just cry, don't you?
I know, you quiver in your boots.
And then when you see West US 2 come up, you're like, well, I'm done now.
I would just quit.
Yep. Well, then you get banned.
No, I wouldn't. I'll get banned.
No, you don't.
I wouldn't quit. I'd stay in the game.
You're not one of those guys that quits.
No, I'm definitely not.
We just die continuously.
I put my pad down.
63-34. Fragile score by any means at all. 8:45 remaining on the clock, so everything's still to play for these boys. And again, with there being an objective, you can get stuck in here, can try and put something together and make it work. We do know that First Boss is certainly at a disadvantage on the opposing side. These guys are certainly here for fun. It looks like they're having that. Jesus at the moment holding the ball. Oh god, I just can't every time.
Jesus holds the ball. You could do so many things with that, couldn't you? Really? There's loads of different things.
There is, and I don't want to do any of them. I'm staying away from it.
I mean, your Scottish accent was probably enough earlier, really, wasn't it?
Oh my god, that was disgusting. If you ever want a laugh and something just a bit more relaxed and have some fun, check out Nick's YouTube. And even his stream's good. He's not a sweary type character like me, but you know when he's done something good because he does drop the occasional F-bomb, and then it's like, yeah, that's an uber player.
And well, he needs to pull something out if he's going to get anything for his team in this series. They've played this game type already, may I add. It was one of the game types in the first series they played, and DEMONICA.PURPLE did win that, so they are going to be extremely confident going into this, and if First Boss haven't picked apart the reason as to why they lost, they're probably going to make the same mistakes that they did before. The core mistakes that I can already see is not playing the ball in the correct areas, pushing across individually at times, but generally they're just being outshot. DEMONICA just seem to have a better team shot right now, and First Boss are really struggling to compete with that.
Run with it, Nick. Steel Sniper, bail on it. Montage time, here you go, YouTube. There's a week's wage here if you can hit this one, lad. Oh! And he gets it! Hits the barrels, bye-bye friend, Double XL is dead. And now me and you get to be on his YouTube. make sure we get shares for that.
You say me and you, it was mainly just you. I just watched and enjoyed it and witnessed it. I'm just glad I got to witness it. That's all that matters.
Do the colour commentary. Explain to me what happened.
Basically, he pushed in, he saw the barrels had spawned, and then he was like, right, if I use my sniper rifle here, with one single shot, I might be able to get enough explosive action that actually kills my opponent. Really good play from Ubernick there.
There we go. Here's a question for you. When he's filing his tax returns, do you think people, when they see his name and his company name, think he works for Uber?
Oh, that's a question to behold. Maybe that's something we need to ask him if we get Harry interviewing him later. Maybe that's something that we need to ask.
I have no idea where that question came from. My mind is, yeah, just a deep.
How long have you been away from Halo again?
10 months.
Yeah, okay, well, it shows.
Nope,
so,
now
first boss. I don't think they're going to get back into it in complete honesty. So now it's just making a name for yourself, going for those montage clips, going for that land moment that I speak of, try and get a double kill, triple kill that you can get on stream, but it's Flash actually who has the sniper rifle, and he's going to be the one who's maybe looking to put this, and he was trying to go for a little snipe down moment there.
He had a crack. And again, it's, I didn't even see it, to be fair, just a glance. I'm going to blend the screen and say it was too dark. Oh, morning. Neil gets nailed, drops down, bullet to the brain, bye-bye, go on, spin around, do it again. Has he got any? No, don't stick him. Have you got any bullets left in the sniper? May possibly not have. Oh yeah, the Walker sniper still on the floor, so there are definitely a few bullets in there. Ginger 1. Onto Ginger 2. Ginger 3 and Ginger 4 would have been a better choice than the names at hand. But they do have Jesus in the opposing team, so we'd expect this to be a loss instantly. Top mid, shot to there, the grenade from S3, he's all tanked up, bullet comes across. Emerson, one touch, they're all down unfortunately. Oh, sneaky jump, there you go, you can tell, hey look, they were going for it, it's like, you know what, if I do this, I'll put it on my next montage.
I'll tell you what, this group has ended up quite interesting actually with the results we've had. I mean, first boss looks like they will be dropping out of the competition, but DEMONICA.PURPLE will have a chance to go through. I think they'll play against Lethal Divide, which is the team of Lunny and Kimbo. But we've also got Lucendi in this group, which is Rob Singleton, aka Septic. He's with Adept, Sniper, and Cyrus as well.
Sin. It's called Sin.
Sin. No, his name is Rob S. I've got that on a piece of paper.
Rob Sin.
It's just Rob S. That's
Sin.
even his game attack. They'll be going up against Tox. Lucendi will be. So the loser of that will then potentially face Lethal Divide with DEMONICA.PURPLE as well. We'll see how that one pans out, but Lucendi may have already secured their spot into the championship bracket, just having a look at this one, but it's going to be down to DEMONICA.PURPLE and Lethal Divide as to who moves on in that final spot, quite potentially. So this Group A has turned out quite nicely. Considering Tox were in it, it was going to be all to play for those second and third positions.
Yeah, when you turn to this event and you see Tox in your group, you're like, well, it's been nice playing here. It's been a wonderful day on Saturday. I guess I'll see you tomorrow watching, but that's fine. If I wasn't playing, I'd be watching as well, and I think there's probably still tickets available. Don't quote me on this to come down. There is a main stage viewing area that everyone's sat down and watching from the seating area. No scope, doesn't connect onto elbow. The grenade goes down, and expect to follow up potentially from some of his teammates who will be watching that angle. JTD Project does have the ball, but he's dead for now. Fidget stops him in his tracks. We can take down Jesus here, Nick. He'll take control of top mid. Ball will spawn. Did look for the player that was going under. He definitely had some sort of information there. Could have gone for the jump just to the side of gold. Look up towards S3. That could be a double pick-off. Doesn't actually shut it down, but again, when you see players fading away from S3, it's possible to kill them online. Usually online, it's like, well, he's gone. That bullet's definitely just flown its way across to the west coast and disappeared into the ether. Grenades are down. One player will be tanked up, so will be forced back. The second player does get a follow-up grenade. Doesn't actually follow it through here for Nick. Still hunting, still following. No challenge yet. Fidget gets the spot. Needs to be careful here, a bit aggressive because there's two players, one at S2, one at S3. And I think with the time left on the clock, very shortly, that will be all she wrote down.
Yeah, 2 minutes 30 seconds left. There is still enough time for them to get back into it, but they need to be picking up the ball now, and they need to hold on to every single second, and I can't really see that going down. So DEMONICA.PURPLE, they perform well this series. I mean, for all the jokes that we've had throughout this game, the fundamentals have been there for them. Their positioning and their map control has been pretty solid. Yes, okay, they're playing against a team who aren't as well practiced as them, and they'll probably struggle when they come up against the better side. But if they can perform the way they did in this game, and if they can set up the way they did, they can at least put themselves in a good chance against the likes of Lethal Divide, against the chance of Lucendi, who they could be facing in the next round.
Come on, Nick. Get away with your life. Lock this one down. Teammates are behind him. The stage is set. The comeback is not real. Would have been good. Wasp ship is also dead. Triple XL comes in. And for now, we're just running down the time. Let's talk bigger picture, Daniel, then. Do we know what next game is after this one?
We don't know what the game is just yet, but I presume it'll be another round 3, so it'll probably be 2 guys that are 1-1 again. Or I'm being told it's Aspire Esports versus Back to Classic. So Back to Classic being Sandal 1, Sandal 2, Fatal Ferocity, and Boinsey. And Aspire
and
being
who?
Jim Boinsey.
I like that name.
Going up against Aspire, which is Jimbo, 2Foxy, Flux, and Riot. So that's the first time we're going to see Aspire on stream today. They didn't get one of the spots to be funded for this tournament. They finished outside of the top 2. However, they did then get picked up by Aspire, and I don't know what the contract situation is there, but they are here, and I'm excited to see how they perform on land.
Was that to do with not playing in the Cups as much, or
No,
was
they
that because they actually got beat fair and square?
They got beat fair and square. Unfortunately, they didn't get through.
Remind me again who the top 2 was?
So we saw Respectful's team go through, and we also saw Havoc's team go through. Those were the 2 that got the funding from the UK side.
Double kill. That was nice. Back to back on the head. Fidget still looking for more, but with 25 seconds, that'll be all for now in this best of 5. 3-0, Demonica.PURPLE. Nice easy run through to Championship Sunday. I'm right in saying that, aren't I? 'Cause no, still possible to go out?
Still possible for them to go out. Unfortunately, they need to find another victory, because we're going to have Lucendia, who are going to be on 2 wins. Lethal Divide are going to be on 2 wins as well as them. And Tox will probably be on 3 wins. And only 3 teams can go through from the group, so they're going to have to pick up another victory. It's usually in Swiss stages, you need 3 victories to actually go through to the next round. So that's what they're going to have to be hunting for.
Got it. I was assuming this was their 3rd game, but it's not because of the bracket that we're in. But either way, congratulations to Demonica.PURPLE. They will continue their run here in the Swiss stage. Ubernick's roster, unfortunately, that'll be 2 losses now for them. So one would assume they won't be making their way forward to Championship Sunday.
Yes, we can assume that just mathematically it's going to be possible for them, yes.
I still want to know if Harry's going to ask the Uber question.
Well, we'll find out, I guess. It depends how much Harry adheres to peer pressure and your wonderful Scottish tones.
I wonder what else you're going to say then. A little bit concerned. Can't take too much away from the kills, but certainly want to give credit where credit is due. Double XL, Fidgets, Flash, and EU Jesus will come out on top of this one, and they will continue their run. Certainly, kills in the bag were looking pretty good. It's been a good one. The previous round, excuse me, the initial one, the Onslaught map that I applied wasn't even either. It was actually applied with game number 2. Not the worst of games from the opposing side, but certainly in their mind it's like, okay, well, we know what a weaker potential map is going forward, something that we need to tighten up on. You can take things away from it. Really, you can't take too much, but you can certainly say, okay, well, this is a weak map for us, maybe we don't want to match up on this one. And again, coming into a Sunday is where you go back, you have your coach in the back, because let's be real, coaches in Halo 3, that no disrespect, most of them are there for timing weapons. That's generally speaking their job. Keep a track of the weapons, keep a track on things and miscommunications and miscoms. But the real play of a coach comes in on the evening. Get the VOD work, see what went wrong, see what can be tightened up on, see what can be improved moving into Sunday. Yeah, should be a late night for the coach.
Yeah, I think we should focus on the positives from Demonica.PURPLE, really. They've got 2 wins at the tournament. Okay, they're against the same team, but now that's going to give them good momentum going into a must-win game against possibly Lucende or Lethal Divide. Don't know how the Swiss bracket's actually going to work out with who they're paired, because usually it's randomized. So we'll see how that pairs up when we go into Swiss round 4. But they put themselves within a chance of Championship Sunday, and I think that's something that they can take a massive positive from.
I do think the good thing about the Swiss round is that everyone who turns up this week and gets at least 3 games, right? I'm right in saying. So even if, you know, okay, well, we're here for fun, we can still have a good weekend. There's a bar here. I think that's a dangerous thing, if I'm completely honest. But I suppose...
I thought you were talking about a metaphorical bar for a second, like a benchmark, but then I realised, no, you meant a bar.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then again, you can drown your sorrows if you need to.
Yes, that's always a possibility.
Or you might just see players getting smashed on the Sunday and enjoy themselves.
You never really know.
Either way, we do have an interview. We do know this much. Let's throw it down to my good friend, Wonder Boy. Harry, over to yourself.
Thank you very much, Sims. I'm here with Mr. XXL. You told me to call you AJ because we're mates.
AJ. Anytime you can call me AJ, it's fine.
Awesome. First of all, sum up the series. Nice quick 3-0. You played them earlier on. Talk to me about that series.
Well, we played them earlier. It was a 3-0 then, and we expected a 3-0 this time as well, to be honest. A few of those game types in the last series were actually more our preference as well. They were some of our favourite ones to play. So we just had a bit of fun in the last one, really. Sorry to Uber Nick, but we did. We had a bit of fun. Yeah, just enjoying ourselves. So it was a nice little series to one more series, then we're on for next tomorrow.
You guys obviously had to play Tox earlier.
I wouldn't say play was the right word. Play was not the right word.
How was that experience for you? And
not consensual.
most importantly, how are you guys recovering?
We recovered well. We knew it was going to happen. We expected it to happen. So we just kind of went in with the there's nobody goose. Let's just have a bit of fun with it. And luckily we didn't. We had a couple of swans, but that was about it. No, not even a breadstick. So that was okay.
What's the swan? Is it 2?
It's a 2, yeah. And they're endangered. You can't kill those, so that's fine.
Speaking of swans, you're now 2-1 in the Swiss group. One more win and you're in the bracket tomorrow. How far do you guys think you can go?
I reckon we can potentially close out this next game, and then I reckon maybe. We'll see what happens. It depends on who we draw. If we draw a couple of nice teams, we might get a bit further. But I'm feeling as long as we win this next game, then we should be able to go at least another 1 round or 2 rounds further. Just depends who we get.
Anyone in particular you want to play?
I'd like to play the other Demonica squad just to play them. Demonica versus Demonica, that'd be a good one. But other than that, it's just anybody really. I'm happy to just be here and play.
That's wicked. XXL, thank you so much for the interview. We're going to go to a very quick break, and when we come back, we'll have more Halo 3 action.